Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ted Fuller, your presenter for the day. I am here to give you a complete breakdown and overview, review, and training of the eBay inventory tool that you have for your inventory control and management to your eBay storefront. Use this knowledge for power, right? Translate this newfound knowledge and maybe some new tips and best practices from the program into your own activity and help you turn that knowledge into action, and hopefully that action will result in more listings on your eBay store, more productivity out of those live listings, more productivity out of your inventory tool. And really what I'm trying to do is help people more or less unlock the potential of this program. There is so much goodness that can come from being an eBay seller if you proactively and have curiosity to kind of learn what the capabilities are and really get after it. So let's dive right in. And again, thank you all for coming today. Again, those of you that came in just a moment ago, this is a complete eBay inventory tool training and review for your benefit to help you manage your inventory much more effectively. Important elements here, guys, in terms of agenda. I like to try to give everybody a perspective of what I'm going to cover today. We're going to do a complete coverage of the elements within the eBay tool. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you some information and really what's important in the inventory performance dashboard. So many people have this inventory dashboard that presents itself every time you log into the inventory tool, but really never stop and take a look at what's in there. So I'm going to give you a complete overview and perspective of that so you can see what's happening around you in your inventory. So many people also have never had a walkthrough of the eBay program global rules and also known as global default preferences. So I'm going to give you a flavor for what's in there and how to control that and what it's good for. There's also important ingredients within the search panel. Okay, if you're newly initiated to this program and you're really stepping into the inventory program for the very first time, the search panel is super powerful and it gives you complete transparency to your inventory, but really gives you granular elements with which to break it down and control it effectively for live listing on eBay. The other thing that's super important for today, folks, is the part controls that you have. Obviously, you have to activate what you feel are worthy items to eBay. You also need to know that you can deactivate things that are on eBay and how to control those. You have to take things down from the eBay tool in order for them to delist permanently on eBay, okay? And then the other component of parts controls is the ability to what's called hide items. You might have a collection of unworthy items for eBay. For example, batteries. Not a good idea to list batteries because they're really not a good idea to ship out, right? They're hazardous materials, caustic materials, and so they're not a good idea to list and sell because they're not a good idea to ship. And so what you can do is take those and move them out of the way, get them out of the mix of inventory that's on the program, and get it off your radar. The other very important thing that I do want to show you today and try to slow down a little bit during that review is the shipping and handling. Really remember, folks, that there are economic decisions that are being made for your shipping. What you are going to charge for shipping has to be prescribed on your listings before it gets to eBay. And people are going to pay you. If they're not paying you enough for what your cost is for shipping labels, you need to know that and you need to make adjustments. So understanding how to play your listings for shipping and handling and how to charge the proper amount for shipping and handling is a very critical role for success and profit margin maintenance, okay? The other thing that's important to show you today is how you can differentiate your listings. There are certain components that you can edit. You can add additional images. You can add additional description and a few other elements that to really help you differentiate your items from others or elevate your items over others that don't take the time and what that time and energy will equate to in terms of additional attention to your items on eBay, as well as translating into click-through and purchases, right? So the ultimate takeaway for today's session is to help you have more knowledge and power to control your inventory. I want to help give you a little bit of a game-changing perspective on your inventory, on the abilities to control the inventory within the tool, and then how you can affect those things that play well on eBay. There's a science to this, and I want to try to translate that to you today for action and for success. So if I could take a moment and try to help you frame this thing, this whole channel, make this eBay channel matter, but break it down into a 3-step process for success. So many people kind of don't even know where to begin. So if I can kind of give you some ideas of how to really lay it out in a 3-step process, you'll have a much more focused ability and time and attention, right? Because everybody's time is so limited. You really have to choose how you spend your attention, how you spend your time, and so hopefully this will help you a little bit. The first step is very obvious. It revolves around your inventory. You need to take the inventory from your inventory tool and manage it up into your eBay store, into the eBay marketplace. It's not going to go there by itself, and that's what we're here to review today. Okay, so you want to manage your inventory into the eBay marketplace first and foremost, and that can be stretched out over a many-week period, or you can do it, overnight. The capacity with which the eBay program operates will let you do it at your pace, at your control, and at your preparation. Okay, so but the key thing is you want to do is keep moving until you get all of your eBay-worthy items managed, activated, or hidden, and working for you, or tucked away and not part of the mix of things that should not go to eBay. The second step is really, eBay sales, getting eBay sales, allowing items to sell. Put enough items on eBay in that first phase to allow some things to sell, okay? Then take a handful of those transactions, maybe 3 or 4 or a half a dozen, and look at those transactions. Look at the eBay, go to eBay and search for that part number. Where did you come up in the mix of pricing? Look at the transaction that you had with the buyer. Where did it ship, right? How much did you have to pay for the shipping label? How much did you charge for that shipping label? And use that data to make fine-tune or large-scale adjustments as needed. There's valuable data coming from eBay. There's valuable data coming from your transactions. You can leverage that to make adjustments to your pricing, to your shipping parameters and other things. So really, step 1, get the items into the marketplace, allow some things to sell, and use those readouts and that information to make those fine adjustments. Once you have step 1 and step 2 fairly understood and fairly complete and working for you, the third step of the process is to really focus on your eBay performance, status, and reputation as a seller on eBay. Okay, it pays major dividends to make sure that things are getting shipped out quickly and efficiently, that you're communicating with buyers. If you have a need to communicate with them, you're communicating with them when they're when they're reaching out to you for a question or that sort of opportunity to return something or exchange something. You want to monitor messaging from eBay. That pays major dividends, and I want to help you with a little bit of general eBay navigation skills through this dialogue today as well. Okay, there's a lot to the landscape of eBay as a seller. Some things are very important, other things have nothing to do with what you're operating as on eBay. So it's very important to help use your time on eBay more productively as well. So my next little point here, guys, is what's the point? Like, why should we care? Why should we care? Why am I here today doing these trainings? Why am I, trying to draw you in to do these types of trainings? If you look at the collection of sellers today, and we have a lot, the average program seller has only gone through the motions of activating 40% of their inventory. Okay, some sellers are fully maximized and just kicking it, crushing it, and just printing money every day, every week, every month. Okay, others are sort of gotten through the process, they've gotten a little bit going, but they fall short of completing that task of part activation, and therefore eBay's not working at maximum capacity. If you let it, if you dig in for a short burst of energy, time, and focus, eBay has the potential to be one of your top 3 consumers of your inventory. You can really expand and scale your eBay sales operations if you make sure that all of your inventory is up there, it's priced effectively with the proper profit margin for you. That's first and foremost, with your proper shipping rules and really knowing how to put things up to eBay. Why is it also critical? Well, guys, eBay is a very vibrant, very safe, and growing e-commerce marketplace for buyers. There's 170 million buyers, at your doorstep, looking at your inventory 24/7. You need to get it all out there. Statistically, 3 parts and accessories are selling on eBay every second. If your stuff isn't in the marketplace, you're not getting your fair share of transactions from buyers that are using eBay. And remember, it's instant payment. You're getting paid the minute people buy something from you. There's no terms. You're not extending 30, 90 days for people to pay you. You're getting instant payment. You're free and clear to pack and ship stuff out. And eBay is the fastest growing, most successful vertical of eBay in general. So it's really worth activating all of your items and making this channel matter by helping getting your inventory into the marketplace so that it's working for you. If stuff's hidden in the dark, sitting inside, languishing inside of eBay, the inventory tool, there's nothing it can do but just sit there and collect dust. And then again, we're going to talk about taking the unworthy stuff and hide them with the hidden status. If you can get through a part activation, sort of practice and sort of case study of working your inventory and making sure you look at all of it and either hide the bad stuff or activate the good stuff, it will make your ongoing inventory housekeeping very simple, very easy, and take very little time, because you've taken the time up front to manipulate everything and control everything. Anything new that comes in is going to be very easy to identify. It's going to be very easy to manipulate. It's going to be very easy to decide what to do with it at that point. So ongoing housekeeping can be just a few minutes of time if you've taken the time up front to get rid of all the inventory or activate the worthy stuff. And then it's important, one of the things I want to bring up here, guys, is to be very vigilant. One of the biggest things that you can do is have a vigilant focus on your seller performance and reputation as an eBay seller. So many people really fall short of keeping an eye on what things are getting shipped out, customer service, buyer disputes, returns and exchanges and things like that. You want to have a pretty vigilant focus on your eBay messaging, and that will tell you where to spend your time. And I want to remind folks that aren't too savvy about the landscape of eBay that there are significant benefits of becoming an eBay top-rated seller. When you become an eBay top-rated seller, you get top spots in search results. You will get a natural and organic lift in higher presentation, better visibility to consumers when they execute a search. That's the most important thing you can have, is visibility for click-through, okay? It's also important to understand that there is a 10% discount on the eBay final value fee for those buy it now, fast and free shipping style listings, right? So you can take those items, bake in your shipping rates, create that best value. If you're a top-rated seller, you get a 10% discount on your final value fee, and that equates to money back in your pocket. So it's worth working those angles and earning top-rated and staying there. Now, I want to caution everybody too, because falling below standard, right, having too many defects and too many unsatisfied buyers for too many periods of time, too many months, you will fall below standard, and the final value fee actually goes up to 12%, right? That can hurt. That's going to cut away at whatever margin, profit margin you're trying to capture. So it's very, very important to understand that top-rated sellers get benefits, they get lift, they get visibility, they'll get more sales. You fall below standard, you'll be minimized, you won't be seen, it'll be hard to get out of the penalty box, and you're going to be whacked with an extra percentage in final value fee. So very, very important ingredient to understand, appreciate, and work towards. So thank you so much for kind of digging in with me on that material. I think it's important to do a little bit of knowledge transfer in that first phase of our dialogue today. So let's dig right into the overview of the various components of the eBay inventory management tool. Now, the first thing I want to show you by screenshot is actually a component of the tool. I want to flip over to the tool in a minute, but I want to spend some time just looking at the inventory seller dashboard that's resident inside of the eBay inventory tool. It presents itself to you every time you log in. You click on the inventory aces icon, boom, the dashboard pops up. I want to help you understand that there's a quick indicator in there that can show you how, what's left. Unlock the inventory, right? Unlock the inventory will unlock the additional cash flow coming from eBay with all of the parts that you have listed in the marketplace. It really does mean something. So here's a screenshot. This is an overview I want to give you of the seller inventory dashboard that's resident in the inventory tool. When you click on the icon and come in, the dashboard pops up and it will show you what's happening with your inventory. So let me just grab my little pen here, a little highlighter, spot marker, and show you what's happening here. Now I want to try to indicate here that this top portion that you're looking at in terms of sales is really an indicator of what's happening, obviously, in terms of weekly sales, okay, the last week, and this is an example of the revenue, gross revenue coming from the program in the week prior, and then the number of parts sold, from eBay, off eBay in the week prior. It will also give you a month-over-month comparison as well as trending. So obviously if you're down, it will be red, and if you're up, it will be green. And then once you cross your anniversary mark, it will also show you same week, year prior, to give you a understanding of year-over-year trending and analysis. And so you can see here it's a very positive trending based on, say, 2016 to 2017. The key thing to look at here, guys, in terms of this top portion is what your trend is. What's trending around you and what you are doing. And I put this little comment here, what have you been doing to affect the plus or minus % change? What I mean by that is maybe you're activating more parts. You'll naturally see an uplift in week over week or monthly sales. Maybe you've gained top-rated seller status. That will have an impact on your sales and will give you more visibility, which will translate into more sales, more positive sales. The other way to go, for example, is maybe you increase pricing, or you radically change what you're charging for shipping and you increase your shipping rates across all of your inventory. Well, that may have a slightly negative effect and decrease the number of part sales that you're selling each month, but each of those sales might be more profitable. So again, the things that you're doing with your inventory and the judgment calls and the business decisions that you're making should be reflected in here. The thing that's really important to remember about this top portion is that it really is historical. It's going to give you information from last week and how it relates to month over month and how it relates to year over year. So what you want to do is kind of understand in your mind, what are the things I've done this month and what impact are they having over the sort of the long view over a 4-week period. Okay, so it's one way to kind of take a look at what's happening around you in your inventory, but also understand whatever it is that you're doing mechanically with your inventory, what effect is it having? Is it giving you the right income that you're expecting, or is it going the other way? Okay, so really important to kind of take a look at that dashboard. The second piece within the dashboard revolves around your listings and your available inventory. And it's important to see here, is all of your inventory online? Is it active and working for you? And that's what this is designed to show you is, the number of live listings. In this case, you see 42,184 active live listings on the eBay seller ID that have quantity, that are priced, that are available for people to buy from you on eBay. Okay, the other line that's very, very important to look at is this in-stock items not listed. Okay, and you can see here is 773. The ultimate goal, your number one goal as champion of this program, as ownership of this program and best practice, is to work to get this number down to 0. How do you do that? You activate items will be subtracted from this number, as well as hiding things. Taking them and moving them away to the hidden status will also subtract from this number. So what you're looking for is, over time, getting this number completely down to 0. That is how you get to maximum capacity for your inventory, and it's also how you, as you heard me refer before, minimize any sort of ongoing housekeeping. So again, guys, if there was one best practice, one tip I could give you for today that you walked away with, if you had to finish now and walk away, the one thing that you really want to take away from this is to take this number and drive it down to 0 by activating items or by moving them to the hidden status. Okay, that's the key way to win the strategy for inventory management. Okay, so that's the key item. Now there's a lot of other stuff within this dashboard. It's not worth spending the time going over. But what it's also trying to do is give you a perception of the global shipping program, lost sales opportunity for stuff that's in stock that's not listed. And again, very important to understand that this in-stock items not listed, what they are, what does that mean? Okay, in-stock items not listed are exactly what it means. It's items with in-stock quantities greater than 0 that's in the tool in an inactive status. So it's inactive with quantity hiding in the tool here that needs to be looked at and affected either by activation or by hiding. Okay, so that's the important thing to look at for the dashboard. And again, take a peek at this every time you come in. Take a look at it on occasion, once a month, once a week, once you get through that process. And then again, once you get through this number down to 0, get this 773, for example, down to 0, you only have to come in here on occasion if you see a new number in here. Let's say all of a sudden you did get it down to 0, and 6 weeks from now you log in to check on things and you see that there's another 200 parts here. Well, that's an indication that things didn't slip back to an inactive status. They didn't just uncertainly kind of move back into an inactive status. Those are new products that came into stock, or maybe new lines that you picked up that need to be looked at and activated. Okay, so they are new products that have come into the database here, that have come into the tool, that can also be looked at and also pushed up to eBay. Okay, so very important to see that housekeeping can be super minimal, can be minimized if you really take the time up front to manage the inventory effectively. Okay, so let me jump over to the eBay link tool training now and take you over to the other key elements here to talk about today. And the first thing I want to cover is the preferences. But before I jump in there, I want to show you also that the seller dashboard, once you close it and begin to move into the inventory tool here and start to work the search panel and other elements, the dashboard lives right here in this particular link, in this dashboard link. So you can always get to it whenever you need to look at it, get a quick snack, a sneak peek at it, take a screenshot of it for pass through to other people, whatever you may need. Okay, that's where that lives. Preferences are the global rules or defaults that really can be utilized to affect your entire collection of inventory within the tool. So these are global rules that you can set as minimum defaults for your inventory management. And there's a lot of great stuff going on in here that's really important to show you and to highlight, because so many people never get a walkthrough of this particular segment of the eBay link, of the eBay tool. Now, what you're looking at up here is inventory quantity control. That's exactly what it is. Your inventory file coming through here has inventory numbers, quantity levels associated with each and every individual part. And what you're looking to do is present those parts to eBay and synchronize them with quantity availability. And that's what this tool right here is doing. In this setting, it's just really allowing whatever quantity level you have to automatically go to your listings on eBay. If you have it, it's available, it's a positive quantity, it stays on eBay. If it depletes, goes down to 0, it pulls into an out of stock feature on eBay, and when the replenishment hits, that replenishment goes back up to eBay. The item's made available for consumers to see and potentially buy if it matches what they're after. So showing quantity availability is the safest, most accurate way to fly as an eBay seller. The other way that you can control is to actually show a percentage of your overall available inventory. Either artificially inflate it to 100+%, 150%, or inflate it down if you're trying to protect some of your inventory for your wholesale constituency, your traditional business constituency. You can mark it down by a percentage. Okay, the other way to go is this third option, which lets you show a quantity of X when the actual quantity is equal to Y. It's a way to minimize, high SKU count, or it's a way to maximize things that you don't stock, but you can sell, you can source, and you want to have them up on eBay. So it's a way to control quantity levels either at a positive number and keep them live on eBay as a fixed digit, or minimize what you have available, and present only a certain segment of that up on eBay. The one thing I want to just help you understand is if you want to switch over to either of these two segments, let's talk. Reach out. I can help you with this. Kind of talk more in detail of the risks, talk more in detail of the benefits of doing it, and how it can work for you, and how it's working for many other sellers that are exploiting, this type of opportunity. Across the middle here is returns, and again, you want to leave this. The best practice is to put this over to money back. You want to leave this, number of days to return within at 30, and you obviously always want to have the return shipping paid for by the buyer. Okay, it's standard operating procedure that anybody who buys something on eBay who wants to return it, wants to get their money back, they have to pay for the return. So you want to believe in that, you want to be confident in that, you want to stand behind that policy. And obviously there may be times where you feel obligated, or you want to do something special for somebody and maybe pay for that label coming back, or compensate them in some way for that label, for that part to come back. But really the standard operating procedure is for the buyers to pay for all shipping coming back. The next pieces you see here is pricing and ShipStation and seller information. Don't worry about those. They have nothing to do with how you play your inventory. I'm just going to move on. The one piece that's here is the weight and dimensional adjustment feature. One of the things I'm going to highlight over in the search panel and in the part rules is the feature function for what's called eBay calculated shipping. And if you want to do calculated shipping for some of your inventory, you can actually do a markup adjustment on the weight and dimensional adjustment associated with the part. So in this case, you can see here we're taking the physical part adjustment, the part weight and dimension, and we're marking the weight up by a pound, and we're marking all of the dimensions up by 2 extra inches. Why do we do that? Well, the part has dimensions, but the part's going to go into a carton, which is going to get packed and sealed and sent in a truck out to the carrier. So if you're going to do calculated, it gives you a little bit of a buffer, allows a little bit of a buffer in the calculation. The calculation is going to translate into what people need to pay you for shipping. So this gives you a little bit of flexibility to add more, money to the calculation in the process of, asking the consumer to pay. What you're doing with calculated shipping is asking the consumer to pay the appropriate amount for shipping versus a fixed flat amount, no matter if it's going across town or across the country. We'll talk more about shipping rules and logic in the parts rules segment of the review today. Now, the lower portion of this talks about automated rules for new inventory. Okay, so if you are new to the eBay program here, and this is day 1, all of your inventory is going to follow these particular rules as you bring up search in the search results. Okay, if you are well down the road, you've been using eBay for many months or even many years, these rules will apply to any new inventory, any new merchandise, any new lines, any new product from existing lines that come into the database will pick up these rules, and they will sit in the tool waiting for you to activate them and adjust them. One of the things that you want to do here, folks, is leave this default status as inactive. If you open this over to an active status, it will allow all of your new merchandise that come into the database to escape and go live to your seller ID on eBay. And sometimes that's not a good idea. If they are a new line of 35-pound brake rotors and you're only charging $8 for shipping, that can be problematic for you and very exciting for the consumer, right? They're going to get a pretty good deal on a product because you're not charging enough for shipping, right? So it's very important to see that you want to leave things here and control them with an inactive status here so you can trigger them subjectively because you want them to be on eBay with all the right rules and proper, shipping logic. Warranty, returns, handling time is your default. You also have feature adjustment for price. Some sellers import their cost, or some sellers import MSRP and want to do a price adjustment up or down based off of that, so you can control that there. This is the shipping type, okay? Free shipping. For those that are sort of not totally versed on the options for shipping, you have several different options. You have the free shipping, which is basically the ability, now pay attention guys, this is the ability to take what you need to charge or what you want to charge for shipping dollars and bake it into your buy it now price. So for example, you see here $8, right? If I want to set product up on eBay and have $8 baked into my pricing to compensate for shipping, that's a free shipping style listing. Fixed is the same amount, okay? In this case, you see $8, but the consumer on eBay can see it separated from your part price, okay? So fixed and free are the same dollar amount. Free is baked into the buy it now price, fixed is not. And then calculated is what I was talking about earlier. It's a way for you to ask the consumer, wherever they may be, to pay the actual amount for whatever the shipping charge is to get from you to them. And it can be calculated UPS ground, UPS, any method, FedEx, any method, and the post office, USPS, any method. And if you're up in Canada, Canada Post, whatever shipping methods you have assigned in your eBay link tool up there, okay? And then eBay Global Shipping Program, for those that are newly initiated and don't know quite, never sort of been tutored on the whole eBay Global Shipping Program, it is a way for you to, the best way to define it or kind of detail it for you is to tell you that it's a way to sell internationally, right? It's a way for you to list your items on eBay and sell internationally, but only have to ship domestically. And what does that mean? Well, the nice thing is the eBay Global Shipping Program allows you to opt your seller ID and your inventory into the program on eBay and allow international constituency to buy them. And when they do buy them, they pay you at your domestic price, right? Sell domestically. And then you'll be given instructions to ship it to a freight forwarding facility that eBay operates in Erlanger, Kentucky. Once you deliver that part to that location, you're done. Your obligations are fulfilled. You've delivered it where you said you would, when you said you would, and your obligation is now complete. eBay will take care of the rest. The shipping monies, the labels, the invoicing, manifesting, the tariff documents, whatever's necessary, eBay will take care of the rest. So it's a super simple way for you to, again, sell domestically and ship internationally. And you will see anywhere from a 7 to 10% increase in sales by simply operating in the global shipping program. So if you haven't operated in it, you're not operating in it, I highly recommend it. It is a best practice worth participation. Once you have your settings, obviously you click save, boom, done. That's where preferences lives. So thanks for kind of digging in with me there and seeing how that works and how that operates, okay? Very, very important. The other thing you'll notice here that I want to highlight on the upper right-hand corner of the page is going to be your eBay seller ID. And this will actually link you. It's not going to link you to the eBay login. It's going to link you out to the eBay store. So it'll show you, your eBay store, and you can poke around from within that. Obviously, if you're already logged in, you'll be logged in and be able to navigate, to whatever eBay seller component you're looking for. But again, this will link you out to your eBay store. Now, for example here, this is a demo version here to show you the eBay inventory tool. And again, moving into the next segment I want to review with you today is the search panel, okay? And how the search panel can work with you, for you. Now remember when we talked about the dashboard, remember talking about the inventory dashboard and the performance there, trying to get that number down to 0. The fastest way to do that is to look for things. I'm going to grab my my little highlighter here, my spotlight, right? Again, if you want to find those numbers, those inactive items that are dormant here in the tool, the way to get them quickly is to go to the inactive status with the inventory quantity on hand greater than 0, right? Anything with a plus number will get you to where you need to be. So anything with a plus number will get you to where you need to be, or get you that search result that you're looking for. So in this case, I've just sped up the process here, and I click on search, and I get my search result in the database here of 19,752. So now that's the collective number of parts languishing here in the inventory tool that I, as administrator, need to look at and affect up onto eBay. Now, the tool works very quickly. I can literally take all 19,000, give them the same shipping rules and logic, and just send them on up to eBay and let them activate. But it's more important to really show you how to break it down, how to break this collection of inventory down into segments and put them onto eBay effectively so that you can manage profit margin, you can manage what you're charging for shipping, put the product on eBay with a best kind of value-driven price so that people will see you as a good price, competitively priced on eBay, and obviously capturing sales. And again, we're going to do everything we can as a program to deliver your items up onto eBay for indexing for search. You control pricing, you control quantity, you control what gets listed. The program automatically generates your listings with really high quality titles, subtitle, part specifications, index for fitment and compatibility. If you look below the fold to the lower part of the listing, you'll see a tremendous amount of detail baked into each and every individual listing. So it's got so much information in it that's turbocharged for search on eBay and really presenting well. And then obviously your pricing, seller performance, and a few other ingredients will give you that natural lift and indexing and search so that you can be found and purchased, okay? So now you can sort of say, all right, well, this 19,752 items, I don't want to send them all up onto eBay with the same price because they're different parts, they're different weights, they're different dimensions, they're different pricing. You can now then go to the search panel. I just opened it back up again, and maybe you want to break this collection of inventory down into segments. For example, cataloging in the tool here provides you with weight and dimensional information that you can use to your advantage. It also provides, visibility and transparency to your part pricing. It also gives you transparency and visibility to what core charge you're charging for remanufactured or core charge related parts. Okay, all of these search elements are at your discretion. You can search by keywords in the title. Maybe you want to look at individual part numbers. Status is a critical thing. Brand, line code associated with brand, inventory quantity. So many great things that you can use to your advantage for curiosity. Do some curious searching. Poke around in here and bring some search results up based on different criteria. Just be curious and see how this thing works and what results it brings back to you, and then you can have better reference for part activation and really sort of better feel for how the system works. But let's say our first segment here is looking for things that are lightweight. Maybe we want to see things that are in the database here that are quantity on hand that are under £1, right? Maybe we also want to see things of particular value. Like maybe we want to see things that are, $0 to $100. Maybe we want to start with low value items, and maybe we also want to see things that are of a small dimension. So maybe we say that they're less than or equal to the longest dimension being 12 inches. Okay, so we're looking for small things, low value, of small size. Now I can refine my search of the 19,752 down to my first segment. And in my mind now, I'm looking to activate these items and drive them up to eBay effectively. So now I've got my 19,000 segmented down to about a third, right? I've got 6,700 items here, and if you look, very obvious, each of these individual lines is a part. It'll have the date it came into the system. I'll grab my little highlighter here for you. The date it first came into the system, its current status. We already know that because we're looking for inactive stuff. If it did go to eBay, it would have a date it was activated on eBay. So you'll see a timestamp here. This is your brand and line code. This is your part number. This little widget right here is a placeholder link to the catalog images provided for you that go onto your listings. Again, cataloging is giving you the images for your listings, and this is the way to see what they are. This buyer's guide, this BG link, is the buyer's guide. It actually will open up, what looks like a PDF document that will give you a cheat sheet of buyer's guide detail and fitment information that you can use, subjectively for other elements of the listing should you choose to. It'll give you a peek at what fitment there is. You'll see here, this is title, subtitle, and then SKU information. You'll see here the weight and dimensional information, condition, quantity on hand. Here's your eBay price. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Here's your part price. Here's what you're charging for shipping. Here's what's being charged for handling. And if you look down the line here, you'll see that they, in this case, it's been assigned to a quote-unquote, generic standard shipping method, and we're offering it as a, buy it now with free shipping style listing. Okay, and there's a few other elements down here that aren't really worth spending the time on, but you can see each individual part has its own rules and logic. Okay, so now let's say, for example, I know what these are. These are under £1, under 12 inch, under $100. This is my first segment. I'm looking to activate this product line to eBay. I can either click on the individual parts if I want to, if I'm just doing subjectively, or if I'm doing the whole bundle, I can just click on the check all. I know that I've done the check all because I've checked here, I've got everybody. I can expand my page view if I need to, okay? And now I come up to this define item rules. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is how I move things into an active status. This is how I launch the product physically to get to eBay. I'm releasing these products and opening the door for this each and every individual part to get to my seller ID on eBay. I now have the ability to make adjustments and controls here and change my return policy, change my warranty duration, condition, handling time. You'll have access to all of the title and subtitle and add additional description or details on top of what's already being driven by cataloging to your listings. Here again, you see the price adjustment feature. You see price adjustment feature. You see quantity level adjustment. Again, at the part level, you can now further adjust quantity levels to either keep them on eBay regardless of your actual quantity, or minimize what's available, because of your existing quantity. So it's a way to do further quantity control adjustment for the parts there. Okay. Now you also talk about the shipping rules. Guys, this is an important ingredient to take away from today that really will help you with the economics and the profit and the success of this program. If you don't really do the right thing in terms of shipping, you can get hurt. And sometimes it takes a long time to realize that you're not charging enough, or you're overcharging for shipping. You're either not getting any sales because you're overcharging, or you're getting too many sales because you're not charging enough and you're having to spend more money to print shipping labels, buy shipping labels, and get them out the door, get those parts out the door. So again, here are your options for shipping type. And again, free is a style. Think of free here, this shipping type free, as a style to your listing, meaning buy it now with quote-unquote free shipping. And if you're going to do calculated shipping, I want to show you here while we're here, right? If I wanted to switch over to calculated shipping, imagine for a moment that these are, large, bulky, heavy things that you just don't want to guess at what to charge for a fixed price for shipping. You can switch them to calculated. And when you do, you need to tell the system, it's, going back to high school algebra, if I could drag you back into high school again and show you that when you have an equation that needs to calculate, you have to have all the ingredients. You have to have all the elements for that equation to work. And that's what you need to do here for calculated, is tell the system, what it is. Is it a large envelope? Most of the time you just want to switch this to active. Just use package thick envelope for everything. It's totally fine. Then you also need to select over here to whatever method. It has to be a real carrier and real method to calculate against, because eBay has the ability to look at this criteria, look at the weight and dimensional information, look at your ship from address, and provide a real-time calculation to the consumer. Okay, so what you're doing is asking the consumer to pay the actual cost for you to print that label out, to buy that label and print that label and get it out to them. Okay, so that's one way to do it, and that's just a definition of calculated. You want to use free shipping and the free shipping style as often as you can. It's a very important ingredient for visibility on eBay search results. It's an important ingredient because consumers can filter. When they get a search result, they can immediately go to the left nav of eBay search and say, just show me things of certain mileage. Just show me things that are set up with free shipping, right? Everybody's looking for a value. Everybody's looking for a deal when they go to eBay, and one of the ways to find the best possible, situation, or the best possible seller, or the best possible, proximity of the item I'm looking for, is to use the left nav. And it's not always going to be lowest price, by the way. Okay, so you really have to remember, people aren't really, they're coming to eBay to buy. They may want, lowest price, or maybe willing to kind of dig for lowest price, but they're going to buy something. And you want to be present, you want to be in that search result, and you want to have your inventory up there so people can find you. Now, here's the one thing to point out here also, guys, is to show you the process of shipping. So if I say in this process here, I'm going to do free shipping, right? I'm not going to particularly assign a particular carrier, because if I'm doing a fixed free amount, it doesn't matter the carrier. As long as I get the part out the door and on its way, that's all that really matters. So remember, now in my search result, these were lightweight, kind of low value things, and maybe I can get them, on average, the cost shipping anywhere in the country, probably would be somewhere around, $7 or $8. So let's say I want to come into the market, I want to test first, I'm going to put them on for $7.50 for shipping. And one of the fun things that you can do, guys, is actually use this handling dollar box to assign some digit for what you might want to charge as a kind of a fee, or a self-insurance, or maybe you want to pass through some sort of a, eBay, the PayPal fee. So one of the things to remember here is when you use PayPal, PayPal charges a percentage of the transaction plus 30 cents a transaction. So a lot of sellers, are either doing like a self-insurance or passing through these particular charges. In this case, you see 30 cents. Some sellers charge, like 25 cents, they charge 50 cents, 75 cents, whatever, that's added to the transaction. And that way they have this little pool of funds that they can use for, refunds should a deal go sideways, or, buy a shipping label. They're kind of using this as a way to kind of fill up a little bucket of cash and then disperse that cash as needed for missing items, damaged items, somebody who you feel like you need to send a return shipping label back for to make them happy, that kind of thing. You can kind of use this as a little fund to fund those types of transactions. And then down here at the bottom, you see the global shipping program opt-in, yes and no. Okay, so again, you want to leave everything into the eBay global shipping program that you can. eBay also has some built-in filter mechanisms to restrict certain products from visibility. So there's a lot of things you don't need to worry about because you have no control over them. There's certain tariff restrictions, there's certain shipping restrictions, there's certain things that, you know, eBay still has filters on the site that will prevent consumers from buying stuff that you might have inadvertently listed into the program. So opt in, get it all out there, and have some fun with it. Now, if I only wanted to activate this small segment of the page view 250, you know, it'll say, hey, you've selected the 250, you know, do you want to update these items, do you want to continue? You could say yes, but then you're like, well, wait a minute, no, I've got 6,700 I want to activate. So I want to show you another tip here is to use this check mark. If you're seeing my screen, pay attention here, guys. This is a check mark to override the entire search result of, in this case, 6,700 with the settings. So if I click this and then click Update Selected, I now get to execute all 6,700 with just one extra click of a mouse, rather than going back and having to do, you know, 500 at a time to get through 6,700. I can just do it quick. I can put it all together all at once. Boom, done. So it's a way to really execute effectively with all of the merchandise in broad strokes. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to show you here is the ability to go the other way. I mean, obviously, you might have parts that, you know, what I'm trying to also teach you here is how to hide stuff, right? One of the key elements and takeaways to reduce that dashboard number down to 0 by activation or by hiding. So if you click on this, you know, these items that you want to hide, maybe it's a group of parts or just a couple of individual parts, it's much the same way. You come to define rules, you come over to your status, click on hidden, come down below, click on save, boom, done. They will now move, I'm going to close this out, they will move over and be able to, you know, be visible again for you by searching for items in the hidden status. Okay, so remember, if you want to hide them either permanently or temporarily, they will still be visible for you and still be available for you to see and look at and manipulate if you just go to the hidden status here at the search panel. Okay, so that's really kind of activation, you know, quickly and kind of in segment. Now, remember, we've got 16 or what was it, 19,000 parts to control. What you want to do is kind of move your way up the ladder in segments, right? Maybe your next segment is 0 to 3 pounds, still staying under 100 bucks, under 12 inch, boom, $8 for those. Maybe your next segment is, you know, 3 to 5, just moving in small segments or big ones. Maybe your next one is, you know, 3 to 10. And then you go 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, you know, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. And you work your way up the ladder to find things and activate them. And when you get through searches, by the way, it's worth mentioning that I've done all my searches, or maybe I'm doing different things, I can hit this reset button to clear the deck. That'll help, that'll clear everything up like an Etch-a-Sketch, just shake it, clear it out, start over again, because I might be looking to go down a different road for different search criteria for different reasons, okay? So that's how you can reset things rather than having to go back out. I've done some trainings with folks in private consultation, and they're like, you know what, I didn't even know that reset button existed. I used to have to go back out, come back in, and reset everything, and that was just a huge time suck. So we laughed about it for a couple minutes. So it's just some of those tips that how to use and navigate the site. But again, you want to get through that 19,700 and something completely. You don't have to do it all in one session, and you can kind of use the filter of inactive to go back to where you left off. Again, remember, if it's active, it's working for you on eBay. If you still have, you know, some wood to chop with inactive items, just find them, right? Inactive items, quantity greater than 0, segment, push them on up to eBay. Okay, so it also runs the other way in terms of deactivation. You know, you might have a situation in the future where you've got something on eBay that you need to take it down. Now, you can delist it and end the item physically on eBay, right? But that won't kill it. Like a dandelion, you got to pull it out by the roots. This is the root system. This is where things are living. So if you need to deactivate them off of eBay so that they won't be there, you obviously want to find that item. Let's say it's this particular part, for example. Again, define rules, move it. Imagine it's in the active status, okay? You want to move it to inactive, and that will take it down. If you want to take it down from eBay and move it to the hidden folder, by switching it over to hidden, you will also delist it from eBay, and move it over to the hidden folder. So it's a way to bypass, maybe a two-step process, and just move it right on over to the hidden folder, get it off eBay, and just move it there permanently. Okay, so that's important to know how that works. Now, one of the things I want to show you also while we're here is the ability to control your listings. Remember in the agenda I mentioned that there's opportunity for you to differentiate your listings, edit your listings, make them different from others, or maybe you need to take a listing and do an edit to put some clarity on it or add some details so that buyers are more clear and have more confidence in the product. So what you can do here is you have access to the titles, right? So if you don't particularly like this title, or you want to tweak it a bit, you want to change it, you want to add something to it, you can, because we give you the ability to remove details here. It might just say, this is made of solid gold, right? It's solid gold. This allows you to tweak and edit your title. And if you don't like what you've done or you want to go back, you can click on this Restore Default. You cursor over it, it will show you the original title. And if you click it, it'll actually revert you back. And I can do the same thing with subtitle. And then I can add additional details. If there's something about the part that you want to translate to the potential consumer, you can do it here. There's a ton of other additional catalog content that's provided on the listings, but you may have something that you want to transcribe over to the listing so that consumers can read it and either be more educated, or maybe you want to say something about the part or about you guys as a seller. So you have control over that. The thing I want to caution you is you have to remember each and every individual part has a unique title and it has a unique part number. So if you're going to be doing edits and you're going to be doing some of these little adjustments for differentiation, you want to be very careful that you do it subjectively for the individual part that you are looking to tweak. If you have a huge group selected of 250 and you're like, well, I don't like this particular part title, if you come here and add, an exclamation point, for example, and you come down here and click on Check All, and then select items, it's going to give this title and this hidden status and whatever else you've highlighted to .6700. Okay, not a good idea to do that. So I want to caution you that the proper controls are there, but you want to do it very methodically. You want to do it very carefully and per part, unless it's something generic that you can put on multiple parts. Okay, so that's really a very kind of direct overview of the inventory tool and the dashboard, the preferences, the search panel, and really how it all operates to help you get your merchandise on up to eBay. This really does cover the material that I wanted to present to you today. There is so much more that we can do with this tool. There's so much more time I could spend with you in training and overview and best practices and how to manipulate your inventory and control it for profitability and for peak performance on eBay. But this should give you and leave you with great knowledge and courage on how to manage your inventory, how to affect it, and how to get it going. That concludes the material that I wanted to share with you today. One of the things I do have is a challenge for you, and you're here and giving me your time and attention. I want to help you engage your inventory. Log into your inventory tool. How many parts do you have inactive with quantity that are not up on eBay working for you? Engage that inventory. Decide what to do with it. Get the worthy stuff on eBay. Dig it out. Get it on eBay and put it up there working for you. Take the unworthy. Move them into the hidden status. It takes literally 15, 20 minutes to dig out stuff to activate, to dig out stuff to hide. Profit from this powerful sales channel. If you lean in on this thing, if you are proactive with it and you engage your inventory, it will blow you away in terms of the performance it can do for you in terms of your inventory and new sales as a very powerful integrated selling channel for inventory management and sales management. It all starts with your inventory. Dig in, guys. Get your inventory up on eBay working for you. Thank you for your time and attention. Please take the next step. Apply this new perspective. Hopefully I gave you some new and interesting perspectives on the inventory tool, on how things work. Activate your worthy items. You are in control. You are in control of your inventory. You are in control of your destiny. So really make this thing work for you. It's up to you to get after it. So thanks for your time and attention today. Thanks for coming. Get your stuff on eBay.